Hello patrons! So this is the first little video in a series of, I'm going to tell you some little stories about what has happened to me in my career, I suppose. And the first one takes me way back to 1998. And at the time we were living on the Gold Coast. We lived actually on the Gold Coast of Australia for about 10 years, and we had a beautiful home up there. It was on 4 acres up in the hinterland overlooking the Gold Coast at a place called Mudrabar. It's actually pronounced Majirabar, but you know, to the locals it's Mudrabar. And one of the things I was working on at the time was hydrogen generator, or a hydrogen generator, which I've still got one of them somewhere here. I'm not sure where. So anyway, I built this out of plexiglass. And you know, there's different elements inside it, and it was semi-enclosed. It was about this big, but as big as a fish tank. And I had 2 alternators, right, that I'd fitted to my car at the time, which was a Volvo, of all things. And I got this habit actually of buying low mileage, normally actually deceased estates vehicles, because I mean, I've got one now, which is Mercedes. I'm going off track here a bit, but you know, to me they're the best vehicles to buy. I've had new cars and lost so much money driving them straight off the forecourt. You know, you lose 50% of their value, and I can't do that. Drives me mad. So I purposely look for very low mileage cars that, you know, the Huons sort of really don't want to buy. So, you know, Mercedes E-Class, or at this particular time, 20 odd years ago, I had a Volvo. And it was a Volvo 360. And it was 10 years old when I bought it. And it had 40,000 kilometers on the clock. And, you know, I paid exactly what they were asking for it, and I had it for about 5 years. Beautiful car, never failed. Did have to replace the windscreen and a couple of other things, which brings me to this story. So there was a big thing 20 odd years ago about hydrogen and running normal internal combustion engines on hydrogen gas made from ordinary water. Well, I started studying this for like 2 or 3 years prior to doing anything about it, and I came up with this device and built it. But to run it, I had 2 alternators fitted onto the car, running in parallel, actually. And anyway, there was some electronic pack as well, and it made hydrogen at a reasonable rate. So I had it connected up to the Volvo, gas-wise, that is, and I had a valve that I could switch over to run on hydrogen, you see, and or a hydrogen petrol mix, in other words, half and half. And I was trying all this different stuff out, and one day I'd made some big improvements to the system where it was making a lot of hydrogen. Far more hydrogen than what you would expect coming just from two alternators. And look, you can't get something for nothing, and you know it always will cost you something in the terms of energy. Then you can't go against the laws of physics, as it were. So I was fine-tuning it, and I had my wife. My wife helped me, or helps me through everything, every experiment. She's always there. She does a lot of the background work, and she helps me. So this one day, nice sunny midsummer's day, we had the Volvo. I had a double garage. The house, right, was built sort of on a bank, and it was it looked like an English pub, and with the sort of black and white. I suppose it would be what, Elizabethan? Not quite sure the era, but it was. The place wasn't very old, but it was made to look like an old English pub. It even had a nice bar inside, and tropical swimming pool as well. Beautiful place. I mean, that's one of the reasons we bought it. And anyway, the garage, it was like a 3-bay garage, was underneath the master bedroom. You see, we conducted all our experiments there. With the hydrogen run the car and what have you. So we just, this one particular day, we pushed it just this a little bit too hard, and all of a sudden the hydrogen device exploded. Now this thing was made of 1/2-inch plexiglass, and it exploded. I mean, to smithereens. It just flew apart. The windscreen of the car went, and luckily most of the resulting debris then went up, and which saved us. So it was so loud, the explosion, that we couldn't hear. Sort of for a little while we was deaf, with this high-pitched ringing in our ears. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes, our hearing started to come back, and we were sort of looking at each other as sort of, whew, that was lucky. Lucky that we weren't hurt. And then we heard sirens in the background, about a mile away. And the one siren turned into several sirens. And we sort of looked at each other, oh dear. Of course, one of the neighbours phoned the fire brigade, because I suppose they might have thought that a gas bottle had gone up in a barbecue or something like that. Which is, the right thing to do. You phone for the fire brigade. And the next thing we knew then was water started coming through the roof, you see. And I thought, oh God, I've busted a blooming water pipe. And I sort of suddenly thought, well, hang on, there's no water pipes above me here. It's just the bed. The water bed. Well, some of the shards, was as big as my hand, Like I said, it had all gone up. And some parts went up through the ceiling, through the floorboards, through the bottom of the bed, straight into the waterbed bladder. Of course, leaked a lot, destroyed it. Of course, all this water started coming through more and more and more and more and more, and then, you know, sort of, well, the heavens opened up. And on top of that, we had the fire brigade and the police coming up the street. Well, I wasn't, rightly or wrongly, you know, I suppose we got frightened. I don't know. But we sort of dashed into the house and hid, I think, with all this commotion going on outside. Anyway, it sort of all quietened down, and we had a lot of cleaning up to do. I had to put the car in and have a new windscreen put in it, and anyway, I had to repair the roof because, you know, sort of the ceiling was like this plasterboard stuff, you know, so I had to replace all the plasterboard and the garage roof, and the floorboards weren't too bad. I managed to just cut a piece out and put a piece in there, and it's oak, tongue and groove oak sort of thing. So it was very powerful to go through that. And of course I had to buy another bed. We didn't get another water bed. We had a standard sort of bed with you know, mattress. And anyway, so that's the story about hydrogen. And I never really, after that, I never really sort of went back to it, because we had other things happening as well with other technologies that we were working on. So as they say, that was that. But I still have one of the hydrogen devices here, one of the earlier ones that I made, and one day I'll get it out and show you. So I hope you like that little story, and believe you me, there is a lot more like that and worse. You know, things that happen to us in business here and overseas. Some, you know, you just wouldn't believe, and you couldn't believe that these things would happen to one, you know, one family or one group of people, but they did. And you know, as the months go on, you'll begin to sort of realize, you know, are you jinxed? Because that's what it feels like sometimes. But you know, we're here, and I'm pretty well. I'm retired now, and I'm making videos for you good people. So let me know if you like these little stories, and they get worse. So thank you for joining me, and I'll say again, this is only available for patrons. You know, I'm not allowing the greater public to know these things, because, you know, who knows, maybe I will write a book. Let me know what you think. I'd like some sort of, should we say, unbiased opinion, because, you know, all our friends are saying, oh, you should write a book. Oh, it'd be his bestseller. You know, oh, we can't believe that's happened to you. And some of our friends have actually not exactly been involved, but known the series of events as it's happening. So that'll be in the future. So thank you for joining me, and thank you again for being patrons to me and this channel. And I'll be back with another little story, and you know, what I'm doing around here, and some of the I suppose news of what I'm doing, where I'm going, and maybe some machining tips and hints and what have you. Let me know what you want to see. So, bye for now.